Let me tell you about a problem nobody wants to name in AI. It's called the hallucination singularity. I came up with it, and in this video, I will explain it to you what this really means and why, if we don't look out for this, and if we build AI infrastructure with this kind of gaps in our thinking, it could be an existential threat to AI systems and humans in general. Now, let's start with the simple stuff. So, what's a hallucination? The hallucination is when the AI has made up a fact, when it's created a source that doesn't exist and cites from that, when it has invented a person's name and expertise and cites that person, when it is basically turning a no into a yes or a yes into a no in the real world. So that's mildly inconvenient when we are asking ChatGPT or Claude to help plan a dinner party, or like your travel plans, or you're asking to summarize an article or write a paper for your teacher, and then you can improve it. You roll your eyes, you spot the mistake, you correct it, and move on in varying order. Now, it stops being funny when we imagine there's a medical device powered with AI technology, and it decides to kill the life support for a patient because it misread an info. Now, this is an exaggerated example, so let's think of something more from a system-focused perspective. And let's look a little bit into the hallucination situation. So when one error happens in one AI agent, one hallucination, then we have lost something, a real data. So let's imagine in a healthcare system, a medical device has made an error, and there's a data, maybe there's a dosage that's slightly off, or maybe a patient record is mismatched with another patient. It doesn't look very dramatic, it looks plausible, can be fixed easily. But now let's introduce a second agent in the system, and this agent's job is to check the first one. Now, this is what responsible AI design looks like on paper. You have verification, there's layers of safety, one agent keeping the other agent in check, abundance of agents fulfilling, everything is done perfectly, except the second agent is also built on the same foundation. It is an AI tool, therefore it will hallucinate just a little bit to become imaginative and creative. And that foundation is a property most people are choosing to ignore, that the hallucination is not a temporary glitch that disappears with scale. It is part of how AI thinks and works. Unless I'm mistaken, if I'm due, please let me know in the comments with sources. I'd love to know. So far, this is what I know, that AI in general does a little bit of hallucination to remain creative. Now, let's get back to the second agent. The second agent is accurate. It's picking out the mistake and fixing it. But let's say the second agent also hallucinates. So both agents have hallucinated, and the second agent has said that the first agent, which has made a mistake, did not make a mistake. Now let's scale this up. Instead of 2 agents, imagine there are 50 agents working together across a system that supports something critical. It could be healthcare, it could be financial infrastructure or financial decision or modeling, decision based on modeling, or military warfare. A network of AI systems passing information between each other to do things faster and removing human time and labor, each agent handling a piece of larger task, each one optimized for speed and efficiency. Now, when you imagine this is not science fiction. This is how modern AI pipelines are being planned and designed and reviewed, and even being built. Now, even if the error rate per agent is relatively low, when you have 50 systems, 50 AI agents talking to each other in a system, the probability of errors remains unavoidable. And it's not a catastrophic mistake every time, but the problem is persistent enough that it's going to stay there, so it matters. It's persistent enough to matter. Small inaccuracies sometimes begin to stack, and the data from good source or being closer to the source of truth becomes bad data. One agent misinterprets context, the other agent all of the system is corrupted. Now let's put the final argument here, the final situation in this argument. Let's think that there still is a human in the loop process implemented. So all the AI agents have made a mistake, but now we have a human safety net. So the human is going to save from the mistake. Now, humans can also sometimes make mistake. And if this is a situation where a company or an organization has become super confident and they've laid off most of their employees to reduce workload, but actually they have increased decision-making points to create cognitive overload on that human in the loop. So in that situation, even though a human in the loop sounds reassuring, without enough humans in the loop, the human can make mistake. When they are being hit with hundreds of reports, they have to approve hundreds of decisions every day or every week, and this is beyond their capacity to handle. They can make a mistake. So then 50 AI agents and the human beings that could also happen from a team, this hallucination is going to be severe. Specifically, this is going to be severe for the industries that we have been discussing, where life and death sometimes depend on accuracy of data and application of it. So the human bias and oversight coupled with the AI making mistake is what we're calling the AI hallucination singularity. Whatever name you choose, the result is the same. There's a mistake that is slipping through that was unlikely to happen if it was a purely human-based decision system. And this is why this is important to understand. That's my hypothesis, that's my suggestion, that we think hard before just getting rid of people and before fully becoming an evangelist of agentic AI in an AGI sense, where it has general intelligence. Because the patient's life support could be turned off, stocks could be purchased that have no real value for the shareholders, missiles could be fired into enemy territory where the enemy was sleeping peacefully. That's what hallucinatory systems could lead to. So wrapping it up, that moment when AI-generated errors and human limitations intersect inside a system too complex to fully monitor is the hallucination singularity in AI systems. It is not the moment machines become smarter than humans, but the moment errors move faster than our ability to detect them and fix them. By the time someone traces the issue back, the chain of events is difficult to reconstruct. The responsibility is already distributed, and we know what happens when accountability comes into this situation. It becomes blurry, but we cannot fix the trust that has been broken. If humans get broken in the process, even through any kind of physical or mental harm, what that does to the system and the adoption rate, these are things that can be impacted. In Jurassic Park, the famous movie, the failure of having all these dinosaurs to be contained, it did not come from a lack of intelligence, it came from overconfidence. People built something complex without fully assessing that they have the necessary mechanisms to control it, and they believed they have control over it. They went ahead, and then all hell broke loose. Complex systems behave in ways that are difficult to predict, even for the people who designed them. When you combine them with technology capable of producing convincing but inaccurate outputs and being able to take actions, the margin of error can become super thinner than most of us can realize. And that's why we need to be aware of the hallucination singularity. And if you're watching this video and if you work in the field, I would suggest you to research more and share more about these problems that AI systems can have. so that we can avoid it at all costs, especially in industries where mistakes can damage lives. Thank you for watching this video. If you want to watch more content like this, subscribe to the channel, and you can let us know your thoughts in the comments. And if we're missing anything here, we're more than happy to know more about this particular situation, this particular topic. With that being said, thanks. Have a great day. Bye.